Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Mm, mhm, mhm, mhm. All right. So I'm taking a break from some stress of the day. It's been a really stressful couple of days for me since yesterday. Um, those of you who were here or have watched, hey Elizabeth. Those of you who watched yesterday's stream, I had a pretty rough day. I got some rough news, and it wasn't even news that I was so sure of, but it was rough nonetheless. Um, I talked to my lawyer again. Hi, Yuki. I talked to my lawyer yesterday evening, um, and we did get a for sure. I was denied disability. Um, I should have the letter in the mail here tomorrow or something like that. Um, but I was denied. We had three choices of what to do, and that's why he called us to see where we wanted to go from here. Um, the biggest problem was that they made the determination in June and they never sent the letter to me or my lawyer. So it's been 2 months now with they made the decision, but we had no clue. Um, and that was really strange. So when you are denied disability, you have 60 days to appeal. We were probably technically outside of that 60 days. Hey, CJ, welcome in. But he called me to see what we wanted to do. And he said, you have three options. The first one is do nothing, just go on, be done with the fight of disability. The third one was to appeal the decision, in which when that happens, when appeal happens, it doesn't go back to the judge. It goes to the appeals court and they um, examine the procedure that the judge himself took and go from there and see if he made any errors in the system of how things work. Um, and he said there's about a 10% chance that your appeal would overturn the decision. That's a 90% chance it will fail. He said your second option is that we do this whole process all over again. We resubmit your. Oh, I'm glad to hear you got bummed out after earlier. Oh, how did is that because of the interview? Is that what you're talking about? But um, we decided that we're going to go at it again because a 10% chance that it'll be overturned is not big enough. And the reason we decided against the appeal is because the lawyer said the only thing that they could see that he might have made an error on is how much my abdominal issues affect my daily life. And it's a pretty hard thing to argue unless someone sees me daily and what I do in my house and how I do things. That's something pretty hard to argue. So we decided that we're going to go back to the drawing board. We are going to resubmit an application. I actually forgot to call my doctor today. Anyway, I might have to take a moment to do that in just a second. Um, and we're going to go to some other doctors, get things diagnosed, figure out, um, and see if we can get a diagnosis on my back and my legs. Get some language, yes. Get some possible imaging and documentation of how bad the scar tissue is in my abdomen and how it affects me. We're going to pursue the PTSD route because we know I have PTSD. Pursue that a little bit. Get a little bit more documentation on what is actually going on. You know, because in the last 2 years, no one's really truly looked at my internal organs. Like they're only really concerned about the last 2 years. Since I was disabled again. Oh, okay. Super soaker. I'm not soaked. But anyway, so we'll be hearing from the lawyer in a few days. We'll do a phone conversation so that we can get things rolling again. There is a chance, there's a little bit of a higher chance that I will get approved without a hearing this time. He said it is somewhat a little bit more common to hear a yes the second time around without a hearing, but we'll see where it goes from there. So that's our task, is to start really getting diagnosis is made, figure out why my white count's high, figure out if there's an autoimmune disease going on, figure some stuff out. The only problem is I don't have insurance at the moment, and so we're just accruing debt at the hospitals and doctors and stuff like that, which is not ideal. But here's the thing. It'll be retroactive, which is nice. So that's why when they call me, I'm like, I'm on the fight for disability, so I'm not going to do anything yet. But it's been stress, and also because of that, I really have to double my efforts with my business. So I'm kind of trying to decide where to go with that, because I have to figure out, is doing the custom based clothing going to be worthwhile and profitable? Like, is it going to be worth it for me to do this? Or should I go with a more vanilla generic route and do sewing for other things that, and t-shirt making and all that, which I can do both at the same time. But running two different shops is not ideal, but if I have to do it, I will. Um, you know, and my second shop, the vanilla one, will probably not be custom stuff, not custom done, pre-order type of situation. It'll be ready to ship types of things, like t-shirts and stickers and dog. I'm going to be making some dog toys and stuff, just for the dog and cat toys, just for the sheer purpose of, I need to do it for our pets, so why not sell it? Because I have so much leftover fabric that'll be perfect for it. And so, that type of thing. Um, Also looking at, can I what can I put in my non-vanilla shop? So the incontinence and adult baby stuff. What can I put in there that is going to be worthwhile? Because yes, I will stand by the fact that I have a fantastic quality of items. However, we're also trying to do this without doing a loan, which may have to happen if we really want this business to get off on the right foot. I don't know that I could get a business loan or not. We'll see. But where's my? Oh, there it is. But figuring out what I should be selling is the hardest thing. Figuring out what's going to be a seller. Figure out what people are willing to pay for that particular item. And the problem that I'm currently running into, um, and this is a problem with a lot of people who are trying to make a business by doing a home sewing business or something like that, is a lot of people out there are hobbyists. Etsy is full of them. And those people lowball themselves. They charge less because it's their hobby. They're just doing it to recover the cost of making the item. Whereas those of us who are in it for a business, such as like me, JK Baby, those people, we're having to lower our prices because of the people that are doing this for a hobby. And that hurts us a lot, because I can sell there's one person on Etsy, Big Baby Boutique, and then there's me. We sell similar things. She sells one-piece footed pajamas, I sell one-piece footed pajamas. Hers are $90. Mine are 150, because I take into account my time, my costs, my efforts, like all that goes into it. So with her selling things that are made out of the same fabrics, basically, her selling them at $90 is greatly affecting my ability to sell at $150. I've been sewing for 25 years now, guys. I've been sewing for more than half my life. And so I'm at a level where I can charge 15 to 20 an hour for a product that I make, because I know that it's done well. I know it's going to last. I know I am good at my craft. But then I have someone like this other person, they're fairly new, who's selling this, and it's like, I've seen the pictures of her stuff, and I know it's a much less quality than mine, but a customer going and searching footed pajamas sees, "Hey, these 2 people make it out of the same fabric for the same item. I'm gonna go with the cheaper one." when in reality, they're not as good a quality, they're not as thought through, they're not as well done as mine. So that's where I'm getting shot in the foot a lot, you know? So I have to figure out a way to make my shop more appealing to my customers, which is really, really hard to do. I'm not a business person, I'll say that much. Like, I'm I would rather it was a hobby and I just sold the stuff as I made it. But I can't do that because I do have to have an income. Hello, cat. Um, hi, baby. So I'm doing a lot of business research, lots and lots of business research right now to figure out if this is if the custom AB clothing is sustainable for me, or if I have to abandon that and go another route, which I really don't want to have to do. But also balancing the shop with things that are ready to ship and things that are custom is also another thing that's hard to do without having any overhead costs. Because basically, right now, everything I sell is a pre order except for things like my stickers and whatnot, because those I can plug out like this. Um, but everything, all my clothing items, you order it, I buy the stuff, and then I make it and send it. You pay up at front for everything ahead of time, and there you go. So for me, it's really I have to think, and I've set my prices where they are based on what I feel my my skill level and quality um, warrant. And I'm even looking at business stuff right now where it looks like I'm completely undercharging, which I can't really go feel I don't feel right. I will never feel right charging, 200, $300 for a pair of PJs. That's just not right, you know? But I feel and the way I calculate my cost is I do put I calculate cost of materials and time. But I guess what I'm forgetting to do is calculate in the value and all this stuff, and so it's tough. Anyway, I still will stick with this because it is my passion. I, however, may branch out into a second shop where I do some more stuff that's really easy to do, and have ready to ship. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, other than that, in other news, my cat pooped on the floor last night or this morning. Not sure. I've never caught him in the act of actually pooping on the floor. Andrew said he has, but I've personally never caught him in the act. Our thought is either somehow the bathroom door got shut because his litter box is in the downstairs bathroom because there's a nice little spot for it in there. The thought is either the bathroom door was shut somehow or the dog was laying in front of the door. And Snitch knows. He knows that he knows that Leah is blind. He knows not to spook her. So if she's laying somewhere where he wants to go, he won't just jump over her to get around her or he rarely walks around her unless she's really asleep, then he will. But the dumb cat will sit in the kitchen until she moves instead of just jumping over her, like he won't jump over her, which in a way is good because she can't see what he's doing. So she would be more likely to snap. Hello, good afternoon for me, but morning for you. So he knows I'm stupid if I, startle her in her sleep. So he obviously Hannah said that he was just howling like he was super anxious. And she thought at first that he was just waking me up, and then his howl turned into the I need something, I'm upset. And she goes up there and he had just pooped on the floor. And then he proceeded to vomit in front of her twice. So my my silly cat. Swear to God, this cat is there's never a dull moment with this cat, I tell you. Um, but yeah, that's what's been going on. I have such a headache right now because I've just been like I've spent most of the morning researching, watching some business videos, um, figuring stuff out. Cats are awesome. They are. My cat especially is a gem. He's a shithead. He is a little shit, but he's also my personal companion, he wants to do everything with me. So he's very important to me. I love him to death. He's just always there with me. Um, he's my baby. So is my bird, but my bird's a little more independent than my cat. My cat thinks that he must be touching me at all times. I'm not as close as the dog because I've only known her for a month. He's supposed Yes, they are supposed to be little shits, but he's a Siamese, and Siamese are like a species all on their own. They are just it's kinda like Sphynx cats. They're like a species all on their own. They're just so different than other cats. I've had cats all my life, but this is and they've never been like him. My other cats, like my first cat when I was a kid, Ricky, was just a short hair black cat. And he didn't mind being around the people, but he didn't rely on people. Um, he slept with me every night because I forced him to. And then like Tigger and stuff, like we always had cats. And Tigger was especially mine. He was my baby. He was my cat. And he loved me. He loved being around me and he'd hang with me all the time, but he was not like this. He'd be sitting on the couch next to me. No, Snitch has to sit on me at all times. He has to know exactly where I am at all times. Um, he follows me to the bathroom. He sits in the bathroom while I take a shower. He sits in my lap while I take a shit. He literally follows me everywhere. Those of you who have watched my streams for a while, Snitch is always around. Um, he's right at my feet right now, like on my feet right now. And so he's my baby, and he's a very needy little boy, but I love him, and he is a very, very, very talkative little boy as well. This cat is just always talking, especially to Andrew. He doesn't talk to me as much unless like he's in the kitchen wanting food or something like that. Um, but it was adorable last night. So we used to live in this complex. This is an apartment complex. They have some apartments, they have some townhomes. We currently rent one of the townhomes, and a year ago we rented from them. We were actually a few up. Um, and so he kind of knew, like, this felt kind of, you could sense it in him that this was like, oh, I'm back at this house. Okay. Um, and he's like, "Oh, there's carpet on the stairs. I'm gonna play on the stairs and lay on the stairs." And last night when I was going to bed, um, I fed him, but he wanted snuggles. But I was on my way up to bed, so he followed me up the stairs and gets up to the top of the stairs and just flops onto his back and is like, "Pet me," and he's rolling all over and purring and happy and everything. And I pet him, and then I went to the bedroom where he did the same thing again, and he just wanted all the attention. Well, Andrew and Hannah were also coming up there too, and he wanted attention from them, and you can just tell he's, like, more comfortable. Oh, sorry, that was just a little bit of a shooting pain through my leg. He's just more comfortable in this place, which is good. I'm glad he likes it. He's actually shown a lot more independence since we moved here. Like, he's not as constantly on me. He's been sitting on the other end of the couch a lot, or he'll go upstairs and hang in my room, which he never did at the old place. Like, never would he just go hang out in the room by himself like that. I always had to be in there. So it's, in a way, I love that he's a little bit less dependent on me and a little bit more able to do what he wants. But also at the same time, I'm like, "Where's my cat? I want to snuggle." you know. But seriously, I couldn't live without my pets. My pets are so important to me. But it was just funny. I was upstairs on the phone with Andrew, and those of you who have been around, I'm not sure if I've talked about this much, but I have an issue with hair follicles getting plugged and infected in on my groin and legs, especially upper legs. Um, and I have one right now that is raging. It's kind of like a boil if you've ever had any boils. Um, and I was sitting on the bed with the cat, and it exploded. It literally shot blood across the bed. And I'm like, "Oh, shit, 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 shit." And he was literally like, I was sitting kinda Indian style, but instead of having my feet crossed, they were just, like, touching like this, and he was in the middle of that. Thankfully, he was covered in the blanket, or he would have also been covered in yicky stuff. But he immediately was, like, checking to make sure I was okay. Like, as soon as I got up, he's like, "Are you okay?" Like, he was, like, in my face. I'm like, "Dude, I'm good." So he senses all of my stuff, which is neat and weird. He senses seizures. If he's very, very, very like, there's a certain way he's persistent when a seizure is gonna happen. Like, he'll lay with me all the time, but when I have a seizure, and if I try to move him, or if I'm going to have a seizure, or if he thinks I'm going to have a seizure, I mean, if I try to move him, he literally puts all his weight against me so I can't move him. Like, literally, I will have to kick him away to get him away, like, and forcefully kick, not like boom, but like push. Um, we usually know if he's being like that, a seizure is gonna happen. And the other day, I was laying here and I guess a seizure started, and I was on my side, exactly on this couch, and my arm was kind of over like this, and Snitch was curved in a little crook right there. And Andrew was sitting next to me and he noticed that it started and Snitch didn't move. But then when he said, he talked to Snitch, said, "Good boy, doing your job," Snitch turned and started touching right here with me, sniffing right about here. Uh, and then he'd look at Andrew and then he'd do it again and he looked at Andrew. And I guess Andrew started pressing right here, like pretty forcefully, not horrible, not enough to like cause a bruise or pain or anything like that, but he just held pressure on that spot. And he said that I stopped having a seizure in like half the time it usually happens. Um, like he said, you just within he's like almost immediately it started to slow and then it stopped. Um, the problem with stopping a seizure, I have psychogenic seizures, so they're non-epileptic. They don't occur because of the same reasons. Seizures are not in hurting my brain. It's my brain freaking out psychologically causing a physical response. So when it shows up on the screens, it's showing the crazy movement, but it's not showing weird brain activity. It's showing consistent brain activity of, yes, this is the way the brain looks when it moves this arm. Um, so when it comes to my types of seizures, you kind of have to let them run their course, because if you don't let them run their course, they're just more likely to build up and happen worse or again. So doing this and stopping the seizure actually kind of prolonged my seizures, and it turned into a situation where um for about 2 or 3 hours I have complete memory loss of that time. Even though according to Andrew, I was perfectly conscious and coherent, having conversations with him, understanding him, responding to him, but I went back into a seizure. And so when I was in this period between where once I had the second seizure, I lost all memory of what happened. And that created a pretty scary situation. I will say that. It ended up that in this between space before the second seizure started, everybody ended up leaving the house. And apparently I was like okay with it. I told them go ahead, but when I came to after the second seizure, I had no clue where everybody was. To me, it was like boom, all of a sudden everybody was gone, and I was hysterical, sobbing, upset, crying. Oh, it was bad. Um, I got little snippets back. I did eventually have some little snippets back, but for the mostly 3 hours, I have zero memory of what went on. And Andrew felt so bad. He's like, "I should have realized I stopped a seizure. That means they're gonna come back worse, and you're gonna have no memory." The only time I've had that was if there was intervention made to stop a seizure. With the psychogenic seizures, some people can have some sort of outer stimuli to help them come out of a seizure faster. There's some people where if you like smack their face, they'll come out of it. Um, but because Andrew kind of intervened and he was just testing it out, because the cat was being pretty like, "Hey, press here." he tested it out and he's like, "I shouldn't have done that. I should have let it run its course because then I probably would have gradually come to and had memory instead of kind of waking up from it and not having finished that physical response that my body was having to subconscious anxiety." And if you guys are all completely unsure what's going on with this, I get it. It's hard to understand. It's hard to fathom that this is what happens, but my body likes to do physical responses to subconscious anxiety. Sometimes it's anxiety that I don't even realize I have. Like I will be perfectly calm watching TV, happy as a clam, and all of a sudden I'm in a seizure. And so it's like, okay, what triggered it? And it's a form of PTSD for me, um, because there are times where I'll have a flashback and then go into a seizure, because my brain is thinking about that stuff, and it's weird. My conditions are so weird, to say the least. But thankfully, since the move, no seizures have happened yet. Maybe we'll get back on track. We went through a long period of I was having them like every other day for about a week until the move. That's why I was such little help with the move, as I was drained. I was exhausted. I'm still exhausted from the move, but I was able to get a really good night's sleep last night, and I think that helped. But I have a headache today, really bad. Uh, I wonder why. I think it's just sinuses. I think it's just allergies. Um, I am out of saline spray, which I need to have him pick that up if he can. Anyway, but yeah. So those of you watching later on and now, I would love to see some comments on this stream about your say you were searching for a seamstress or somebody to sew stuff for you. Like, what are the things you're willing to pay? What causes you to choose that person? Is it quality? Is it pricing? Like, are you more likely to choose someone for their quality if it's a little more expensive? Or are you more likely to choose them for a cheaper price and less quality? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Um, Also, what are some things, those of you who are in the AB community or in the furry community, what are some things that you would love to see a little more available? Like, I know a lot of furries like the handkerchief thing, um, which I would love to do. That would be so fun to do because, a lot of them are wolves and stuff and want a bandana. Like, what are some things that you guys would like to see more from a shop like mine? What are and you can even private message me this stuff. Like, what are you willing to pay for a specific product? Like things that I offer, like onesies, footed pajamas, t-shirts, hats, things like that. What do you guys think is a fair price? Because I want to know what my community and my target audience thinks about that. I don't think that with this particular community, there's that much feedback that is given. Um, so, like, I know some people who are gonna choose. I know a person particularly who chose pricing lower quality over higher pricing, better quality type of thing. Like, I know a lot of us have low income. There's not much extra money for a luxury. But what is the thing that really draws you to choose a maker? Is it like a lot of you know me and you want to support me. Like, is that what, you guys look to? What sets it apart from another person? Packaging can do that as well. Like, I don't put a ton of money into packaging. I do a couple of little things that I'm working on doing better. And I feel like a lot of people don't go with me because I am expensive, even though they love my stuff. I think they just don't go with me because of the expense. But what a lot of people don't factor into a business like mine is that a lot of time goes into this and experience. I have a crap ton of experience at this point with making clothing. I've been doing it since I was 8. Um, so I have to charge a little bit more per hour than, say, someone who's been sewing for 5 years, you know? because otherwise I'm undervaluing myself, which I do in my personal life all the time. I don't value myself personally in my personal life and whatnot. But as a business person, I kind of have to if I'm going to make this worthwhile and profitable for me. Um, I don't want to go through life just covering the cost and time. And I guess for me, I kind of combine the time and value and stuff together. I charge a little bit more per hour. Like I base my stuff off of cost and hourly instead of charging less per hour and bumping up the price just because. Um, I don't know if that's wrong or not. You like the stuff that I make, yeah. I appreciate CJ. I appreciate that. I know so many people in this community are not able to purchase often for things. You have to save up for things. I know me myself, I have never once purchased a custom item, which makes me a little bit sad. I don't have the money to spend on going and buying a onesie that I like. I don't have it. It's not there. If I want to purchase a onesie from Tykables or something, I have to sacrifice something. Okay, like say, okay, a onesie from Tykables costs $35 or $40. That is two or three shirts from Walmart or something like that. Two or three T-shirts that I can buy. So I have to very carefully calculate where the money is going to go. And I know so many of us are like that. It's part of life. But is it worth it to the customer to save up and get a really good quality thing from me? Or is it seems like a lot of times people are like, well, I'm just going to go to Target and get a footed pajama. Um, it's kind of weird to me that a lot of my friends that I know in the Aberdale community don't ever purchase from me. A lot of them never do. Even though they know I do this stuff, they don't purchase from me. A lot of times when I ask them why, it's because of cost. It costs too much. And it's like, well, would you rather have something that's going to last you several years or something that's going to last you 1 year? And you're going to have to purchase the same thing again in a year. A lot of the clothing that I make myself outside of my t-shirts right now, I'm working out some kinks with my t-shirts. That's why they're not up for sale much right now. Um, I have noticed some problems that I have to see if I can correct before I will sell t-shirts to many people at all. Um, but for myself, I would rather have something that's quality, that's going to last a long time over something that's cheap and going to last, like that's a cheaper price and it's going to last less time. Like I would rather save up and wait to buy that one thing that's going to be my thing, you know. But I don't think other outside of like two or three of you that I've known and actually spoken to, I don't have friends that order from me like ever. It's weird. Um and it's a little hurtful. It is a little hurtful. Because I'm very, very much so about loyalty. Um, I very much am a loyal person. Like if I have a friend that does something, I'm more likely to pay a little bit more or something and buy from them than I am to go buy off of Joe Blow off the street. So that's kind of confusing to me when, you know, that happens. But I do also have those few customers or a few friends that are willing to save up and say, "Hey, I'm going to support you. You're my friend. I'm going to support your small business. I'm going to buy from you instead," even though I could get something similar for a cheaper price. So I love the Dolph. I love I don't have my axolotl out right now. He's actually packed away. All of my plushies are still packed away, even my Binky plushie. Um, the problem I'm having with my own personal plushie Binky holder is that I think the axolotl is a little heavy for it, in my opinion. He's just a little bit too heavy because it tends to pull the binky out of my mouth if I even stand up. So he is slightly heavy. I think the other ones that are not more complex shapes would like the dolphin and the narwhal and stuff would be better. I am also not a fan of binky clips for the most part. I don't like them. I don't know why, but I don't like them very much. So I'm sorry, my head is killing me right now. I probably need to drink more water. Let's do that. Oh, there we go. I have a cup now. The Slim Chickens cup. But yeah, I'm just curious. And I don't want to be all about self-promoting. Like that's not what I want to be. I don't want to constantly make videos promoting my business. Because I don't feel like that's good marketing tips. Like I don't want to always make a plug of, "Hey, go check out my shop." Uh, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do that a little bit. I mean the little one too. Like he is just the little one is too top heavy for a binky clip. Um, I may look into seeing how I can adjust that a little bit, like just not stuffing them so much. I have to remember as a binky plushie, they need to be a little bit more floppy, and lighter weight. So I got to figure out how to do that. I love my Axel. He is awesome. I seriously love him. Yeah, he doesn't sit up that well, but when you're snuggling him, he's just like the perfect. I like having a firm plushie. So for me, my axolotl has that big ol' head, which works really well because I can hug his body, but then I've got his head to cuddle on. Um, and I have very few plushies that I have to cuddle. Um, I have Neo, Axel, and Connor. Those are the ones that I actively snuggle. A lot of them stay up in my toy net. But that's also because my little side gets very attached to certain things, to certain plushies. But yeah. Okay, so I am a water snob. Sorry, my dog just made a fun thing. Hey, it's a wild one. Yeah, yeah. That is the only reason I do use a binky clip. And the plushie binky clip, literally, it's a small plushie with a ribbon on it that clips onto the binky. That is the only reason I use it is because then it can't fall off the bed. I can easily find it, but I often take it off if I'm coming downstairs or something. I don't like to walk around with a clip on my binky. So, but in exchange, I do. Ah, sorry. I do often lose it. This hair follicle is horrible, guys. It's literally like this big right now. It hurts so bad. Um, but yeah, I know Hannah loves her binky clip. She uses it constantly. So yeah, like whenever she has her binky, it's always clipped to her. I don't like that. I don't like it. I'm also very like even when I was a thumb sucker growing up and even as an adult, more so as an adult, I was really picky about which thumb I sucked and when I sucked it. Like I'd have to wash my hand. I'd have to only suck my left thumb because I use my left hand less, so it's less likely to have touched something germy. Um, I'm weird like that. Like I don't like my if I'm on the floor, I don't like my binky dangling down, but at the same time, I don't want it so short that I'm like pulling the binky clip tight. Zelly is at work. Abby is sleeping. Abby doesn't feel too great today. Um, I don't feel too great today. I have a headache, a stress headache, I'm sure. And I'm just sore today. Like this hair follicle hurt. I discovered this last night. So I don't know if any of you other people out there who are incontinent and wear 24/7 have this problem, but we think it's related to my genetic disease a little bit. And that is, um, I get these weird plugged hair follicles. Usually they happen right where the diaper is rubbing on that area of the skin. It just causes the sweat to build up and things like that. But this one is on the back of my leg, pretty much, where nothing usually touches. And it's massive and it hurts. And I may actually have to go to the doctor and get it completely drained because holy crap, this is killing me. And I was saying earlier, it exploded upstairs and not exploded in a good way either. Like it didn't fully drain, which had it fully drained and gotten the core out and all that, that would have been fine. But no, it hadn't fully drained. So it's just building pressure up in there. And then if it gets touched the wrong way, I literally had a blood stain like that big on my bed right now. I cleaned it up, but it was a lot. It was a lot more than the other one that's a few inches away from it ever had. So, yes, headaches suck. Unfortunately, I live with them. I pretty much always I love the vid. Thank you, Chase. I pretty much always have some form of a headache, either sinus, migraine, regular just pain headache. But that's because mainly because I have food allergies that are almost impossible to avoid unless I went fully organic and corn syrup free, which is really, really not something I can do. I am allergic to corn, so corn is in everything. Everything. Corn starch, corn syrup, everything has um everything has corn in it, and it's annoying. And I got on this topic because of being a water snob. Um, I'm a water snob. I grew up on a well that was the most delicious water ever. And this apartment has terrible water. It's city water that is just full of chlorine. It tastes nasty. Even when we use a Brita filter or a pure filter, it still tastes nasty. So we have to purchase water. And Andrew went to the Walmart or Hy-Vee and just bought drinking water, and I hate it. It tastes so weird to me. Okay, Chase, what diaper should I try? I am curious. I have yet to try several of them. I have tried those. I don't like them. I do not like them for a couple of reasons. Um, One reason they're very similar, or at least in the past, I have not tried XP in many years, or the Absorbency Plus. I haven't tried them in a long time. Last time I tried them, they had second chance tapes, which I don't like. They had zero leak guards, which I hated. As somebody who has fecal incontinence at times, leak guards are a must. Um, they just didn't fit me well. They didn't work well for me. They had terrible breakdown at the time. I What is the most absorbent one? At the moment, there's kind of three. I think there's three that are really neck and neck. North Shore Megamax, ABU Peekaboo, and the Barnyard. Oh, I'm sorry, and the Little Rars. So four. Um, they're all basically the exact same diaper. Tykables and Barnyard, so the Little Rars and the Barnyard diaper have Velcro, whereas ABU and North Shore have actual adhesive. Um, the only reason I'm not using Tykables at the moment is because they don't have my size. I thought it was too. I don't remember them being there anymore. Now I have to look. Now I'm gonna go look. I haven't checked out XP Medical in a long time. Um, I want to say they don't. Yeah, I don't see that they. Yeah, I don't see them on here at all. Yep, looks like they were discontinued. I'm not surprised. They were not a great diaper. Um, they were not a great diaper at all, in my opinion. The Bambino pull-up adult diaper is going viral. I have not seen that it's been going viral. I may just not be looking in the right spots. I have seen them. I have not tried them. They are astronomically expensive. ABU or not ABU, Bambino has horrible prices. Um, and yeah. I have bought from Bambino before when they came out with the Cloudies. Yeah. Um, the Absorbency Plus were awful. I hated them. They unfortunately they came about while Abena was the most popular brand, and one of the highest quality brands. So they were at a lower price point, and because they had no leak guards and things like that. I've never liked them. I've always had trouble with them. Uh, I personally feel like Abena is one of the lowest out there when it used to be the most premium. I kind of feel like they're the lowest of the rung at the moment when it comes to the premium medical brands. Every time I've tried Abena, and I try them periodically to see how they've changed, they just don't hold a candle to the diapers that are out there now. Like, you got North Shore coming up. I only like the North Shore Mega Max and the North Shore Light. I don't like the Supreme or the Air Supreme. I hate them with a very strong passion. I don't like the lights that much either. I like the prints that they have, but I don't like them that much. Mega Maxes are a fantastic diaper. I love the Tykables brand diapers. What are you doing, Leah? I might have to take her outside. What's up? Please don't tell me you have to go to the bathroom again. She takes forever for me. But North Shore pull-ups are decent for a pull-up. I can't really wear pull-ups because I just do too much flooding, and a pull-up never has the right padding shape for me, so I can't do pull-ups. I have tested them out, and I have worn them. I can do about one wedding in them before everything goes to shit. But I'm trying to give me a second to think here. I have not tried the Bambino ones at all, so I don't know how they are. My guess is they're not going to be great because nobody puts padding in the right positioning in pull-ups. They always have super short, like it's a pad. It should be a diaper that pulls on. It should be just as absorbent as a diaper, shouldn't be just as absorbent as a diaper. If it held as much as an actual diaper does, it would fall down. But it should have the same shape of padding, in my opinion. But I like the Tykables brand, but they have not brought the XLs back, which makes me really mad because hands down best brand, in my opinion. ABU is decent, but I haven't tried the Peekaboo, so I don't know on that one. I feel like for the price, I would go with Tykables because they're better absorbency and a better fit. Bambino's diapers are okay, but they're way overpriced. I feel like a lot of the Rears diapers are also way overpriced. And that goes for both Canadian and US. I think they're overpriced. But they are decent diapers for some of them. I think the Safari is an okay diaper. I haven't tried the Barnyard diaper yet, but if they're anything like I think, then they're going to be a decent diaper. By the way, if I haven't said it, thank you for sharing your opinion in your review videos. I'm glad they are helpful. First version of Jamaica was weird. Yes, that was an accident, by the way. The printing was supposed to be lighter. They didn't want it that color. And can you show us a diaper collection? I don't have a diaper collection, guys. This is kind of a funny thing, okay? You'd think those of us who are incontinent and ABDL would, have more of a diaper collection, but because I use all my diapers, I can't have a stash of them because we don't have the money to buy however many diapers. We have 2 people in the house that are 24/7 diapered. So we cannot afford to just buy diapers all the time. We buy a certain amount every month, they get used. So there is no collection for me, which you see a lot of ABs have a collection. I don't have that luxury, unfortunately. I have to buy the diaper based on functionality and price. So while I would like to buy printed diapers all the time, I can't because I can't afford them. So, not to mention it's really hard, really, 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 really hard to find an XL diaper that is properly done. Most companies make the XL diaper 2 inches bigger. No, you really need to go several inches bigger to get the proper sizing. A lot of them go up to 54 inches in their XLs, and they should go up to 60. It's very frustrating. As a heavier set person, finding a diaper that works for you is exceedingly hard. Um, so no, I don't have one. Wish they had a cloth diaper for ABs like the Pampers Swaddlers example. Cloth back diapers are not great. Actual cloth diapers are different, but um, yeah, and we plan on me using 80 diapers a month. Um, that gives me about mm, 3 or 4 a day. There are days where I'll use more, there are days where I'll use less. With the Mega Maxes, it's a little bit different, because they last longer. But if I'm, say, out in the sun doing a lot of things and I'm sweating and breaking down the diaper a lot faster, I may go through more of them. So we buy about 80 diapers a month. 80 to 90 type of situation, depending on the diaper. It depends on the diaper, but right now we're going with Mega Max because they're good and they're a good price range. They're about the same price as, once you include shipping and everything, they're about the same price as Tykeable's diapers are. So they're like the 150 to 180 range type of thing. So we have a certain amount of money we can use each month. This month we actually were really strapped for cash and we only ordered 40, which might actually work out. We'll see. I might be cutting it really close because I went through a few days where I was really dehydrated. Um I wasn't using diapers very often. I was literally going a couple days where I didn't pee. Everybody is tagging me that that Rears is an XL. I've known this for a couple weeks now. I've known it for quite a few weeks now that it's been in there. Is cursing allowed? It depends on the situation. Um, I curse. It's gonna happen. I curse. I try not to as much, but it happens. Um, if it's cursing towards somebody and you're being rude, no, it's not allowed. But given the situation, yeah, there's some times where it's allowed, but I'm not gonna yell at you for cursing. If I yell at you, it's because of the way you were speaking to somebody else. Na, 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 na. Hang on one sec. Mhm. Never mind. Oh, in our household, it depends on the situation when cursing is allowed. If we are in little mode and daddy is daddy, no, cursing is not allowed. Um, Otherwise, it's allowed, within reason. But you know, hang on. I was tagged. Let me go see. So, um, rules have not been enforced lately. We haven't really had little time, and probably won't have it for a month or so. I don't know. Depends on when we get settled. But hi, kitty. You're on my foot. So my head is killing me. But but yeah. So I mean, if I could choose any diaper to use that I have tried so far, and money was no option, I would probably go with Tykeables. I like their overnights a lot. Now I know they're changing stuff up a bit, but yeah, hands down, Tykeables is my favorite brand. Yes. Yes, 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 wild one. Uh, any cloth back diaper seeps, in my opinion. Abina was particularly bad about it. And the reason they seep, this is the reason. So a cloth back diaper, in order to get a breathable diaper, you have to have airflow. In order to get airflow through plastic, you have to have micro holes. Basically, think of it as taking a pin and just poking it through the plastic. Um, so then they put the the cloth over it, so it's cloth backed and breathable. So the sides won't have the plastic, but the front and the back, the absorbent areas will have this plastic. Because they make it fully breathable, you get seepage through the plastic. It gets pushed out. Um, People who do cloth back but don't focus on the breathability and don't have micro holes, that's one thing. But if a diaper is going to be breathable, just so you know, any diaper in the adult community that is breathable is going to have micro holes in the plastic, which means it is going to seep. Um, that's why I don't use cloth back diapers. That is why. Um, you know, it's really okay. So, we're going to talk about hybrid diapers for a minute because this just popped into my head. You know how Bambino was the first to do a hybrid diaper? I will answer that in 1 minute, Kylie. Um, Bambino was the first one to do a hybrid with the Magnifico. They did a pretty decent job, I would say. I do like the Magnificos a lot. They did a pretty decent job. They made it a plastic back with the stretchy side and the Velcro. And then right after they announced that, ABU is like, we're doing a hybrid, where they did it the opposite. They did cloth back with plastic tapes. That, in my opinion, is the stupidest combination you could ever come up with. Now we have the barnyard diapers that are hook and loop, but they're plastic. We have Tigables. They were the forerunners in this as far as the plastic diaper with a, you know, proper plastic diaper with hook and loop. When they came out the way they came out, I was so ecstatic. I love them. I still love them. Unfortunately, they don't have my size. Kylie, I have tried some CBD oil. I don't have epilepsy. So it's not gonna affect me in the same way it affects someone with epilepsy. Um, I would be more using it for anxiety instead of seizures because my seizures are based off of a subconscious psychological anxiety and trauma that I've went through. So yeah, that is I do fully think I have tried actual marijuana. That I used to react really bad to it. If I'm really careful and do it right, I don't seem to react anymore. CBD oil, I have to be careful with because it gives me heartburn really bad. Um, so I've used it. Do I see a ton of success with it? Not thus far. We haven't truly been able to test that. Like, okay, a seizure. I feel like a seizure is going to happen. I'm going to take some CBD oil, or I'm going to smoke some weed. We haven't really tested that out yet. But I do know that if I do smoke some weed and I am able to keep myself calm and in a calm situation, not arguing, things like that, I do pretty well with it. And it does make me calm down. Is a urinary tract infection led to incontinence? In my case, is that what you're asking, Chase? Forgot the preschools. You tried cloth or plastic. I have tried the cloth back. Um, I'm not fond of them. I think it was a stupid decision to make them cloth back the way they did. But oh well. Oh, no, that is not what led to my incontinence. It's very rare that a single UTI will lead to incontinence. It can lead to temporary incontinence. If you're having a UTI, you can have some temporary incontinence. But The reason I am incontinent is because I've had 11 surgeries on my abdomen, and through that, the nerves to my bladder and in my bladder specifically have died. I have 0 feeling to it because of all the surgeries I've had to have. And none of these were really elective surgeries. It was all exceedingly necessary. Many of them were emergency surgeries. So I am incontinent because I have lost the nerves. Um, it's very rare for someone to become incontinent because of UTIs. Now, if you're literally having them constantly and it's damaged the nerves, that's one thing. Um, yes, they can cause temporary incontinence because your bladder is being weird when it's got an infection going on. But for it to be caused by that is rare. Um, a lot of causes for people's incontinence is because of back injuries. That's one of the most common things I've seen is people with a back injury or were in a car accident or something like that. Somehow it has made their feeling or their ability to hold the muscles together lessen. Like I would say, especially in men, that's one of the I would say leading common causes. What started it? I have a genetic disease called familial adenomatous polyposis. Um, in your when you every human being without this disease has a gene that tells your body do not grow polyps in your colon. Um, um, it is fairly. Um, so basically, I am missing a gene. You're not going upstairs, dog. I am missing that gene. So my body was growing polyps in the colon prolifically. Um, so with my Leah, no, Leah, we don't go upstairs. I think she needs to go outside, which means I have to go find pants. Um, so with my disease, I was growing polyps in the colon. Polyps in your colon can eventually turn to cancer. In the case with my disease, most of us will have cancer by the time we're 30 if we do not have action taken. Which means prophylactically removing the colons. She needs to go outside. Are you going to make me go find pants? I don't know where my pants are. We might be going on a journey, guys. In a minute, honey. In a minute. Yep. So, um, I had to have a surgery to remove my colon. They removed part of my colon, but I had a very, very bad infection because the spot where they sewed the intestines together again, by that I mean the small intestine to the remaining few inches of my large intestine, um, that burst open and caused a life-threatening infection, which then caused me to have more surgery to clean out the infection. This infection damaged some other organs, things like that. I had an ostomy for 2 years. I had many bowel obstructions, in which they had to go through and release scar tissue, untwist my bowel, um, and things like that. So that is what led to all the need for surgeries. Never had incontinence from a UTI, but they are not fun to go through. Yes. How do I feel about incontinence? At this point, it's part of my life. Um, it's just second nature to me at this point. I don't feel upset by it anymore. So yeah. Have I peed this stream? Not that I know of. Uh, but yeah, see, she's wanting to go out really bad, so we might hop outside for a few minutes. My Wi-Fi should reach. Let me go find some pants. um, I don't feel when I pee. By the way, I can't feel that I need to pee. Let's say that. I don't feel that I need to pee. I only know I pee because my that down there gets warm after I pee. So, and this creates a few problems every now and then because oh goodness, if I change my diaper or something, there are times where yes, I have peed on the floor. Somebody is wanting her ear scratched. Sorry that I'm shaking the camera. The dog is getting her ears scratched. Pants are, I know, I hate pants. Leah, do we need to go outside? Yes, okay. That was a very obvious yes. Let me go find some pants. You guys are coming with me. I have to find pants. They're all in, I just put my laundry in the wash, which is annoying because that's where my pants are. Hang on, girl. Let me go get some pants on and then we'll go outside. Ugh. Oof. My body is not happy about stairs today. Probably because I've been going up and down them a lot lately. Okay, pants. Huh. I haven't unpacked all my clothes yet, so that's why this is a problem. Nope. Okay, we wear booty shorts. Literally have these for in the house. I don't typically go out of the house with them. But in situations like this, I have to. Okay. By the way, you can see my crib is not put up yet. There and there. Okay, Leah, here I come. Let's go outside. Oh, Leah, come on. Only reason you wear them is I live with my grandmother and mom. Come on, Leah, this way. Leah, come on. Or not. Leah, are you all done? Okay, let's go. That was a lot faster than I thought it would be. Glad I put pants on though, because there were people standing up across the street. Here's Kitty. Yeah. Like that being said, those of you who are newer, I was not originally aware of the ABDL community when I became incontinent. However, I very quickly learned that, hey, this is going to help me cope. And I also learned that, hey, I've kind of had these tendencies all my life. So being an AB on top of incontinence helped me learn how to cope and come to grips and not enjoy. I'm not a DL, but come to grips and be okay with my incontinence and wearing diapers. I have not worn a single pair of underwear since 2011, April of 2011. So I have not worn one. I don't know what it's like to wear underwear anymore. What I need to say is my grandmother, a 93-year-old grandmother. Oh God, yeah. That was interesting back when I did start having incontinence issues. Like my family knew for the most part. My extended family knew, especially the adults. And my grandmother's like, she had the nerve to tell my mom she's faking, and she just needs to set a timer to go to the bathroom. Yeah. Mm-mm. We tried that. We tried setting the timer. Every hour and a half, I would sit on the toilet for about 15 minutes, waiting for my bladder to go. Very often it would happen that I sat there for 15 minutes. I'd get up, put my diaper back on, and about 10 minutes later or so, it would pee. So I'm like, well, then maybe I just need to set it for a little bit less time and sit on the toilet, or a little bit longer time period and sit on the toilet longer. That did not work. I cannot make my bladder pee. Trust me, it catches me off guard a lot when my bladder pees. But DDLG means Daddy Dom Little Girl. It's a common term for the BDSM / caregiver community type of deal. It's just it just tells a type of relationship. Like, for example, um, I guess the best way to explain it is, yeah, CJ, I'll get that to you. Um, but daddy dom, the difference in the between like just a daddy or a daddy dom is a little bit more like the best way I can explain it. Andrew's a dom. He's a daddy dom. So there's a little bit more of a control aspect there. We are actually in more of what we call a domestic discipline relationship, where he is the head of the house. He is daddy. Um, we have rules we have to follow. Not right now, but generally there are certain rules we follow. Daddy says a rule is a rule. It's a rule. If we disobey the rule, we get punished. And that varies for each different person in this type of community. For me, spanking is a very traumatic thing for me. Um, he cannot do that with me very much at all. There's an extremely fine line where I'm okay with it, and then it goes, boom, I'm not okay with it, and it causes PTSD because I was spanked all the time as a kid. I grew up in a very Christian household where you disciplined your kid by spanking. Um, so for me, the spanking is a very bad thing. Whereas for somebody who's more of a DL, more into the whole daddy dom little girl type of thing, like a lot of girls are, the spanking or those people who involve whose ABDL side is somewhat sexual, um, that's a different story. So the pain of the spanking and stuff is more of an arousal. Whereas for me, it's a very traumatic thing. We literally only spank and we have to limit it to like 2 to 3 whacks or something like that because it has a very fine line where it goes from my little side is just sad being disciplined to suddenly adult me is in a triggered flashback. So, yes, being an ABDL means adult baby diaper lover, meaning so right, Kylie, seeing as you're new to this term, I'm going to explain a little bit here. Um, adult baby diaper lover is not in any way, shape, or form. Okay, there are some pedophiles in the community, but we are very against them. We do not involve children whatsoever. We are people who feel more at peace, less stressed when we are in more of a childlike mental state. So for me personally, I am a non-sexual AB, but I even more go for the term little because a lot of times AB is an age play thing, whereas age play is different than being a little. Um, because oftentimes being an age player means there's going to be sexual things involved. With me, I am a little. That is not it. I'm not playing that I am this thing. Literally, this is part of my true personality. I kind of view Kai, which is my little side's name, as more of the true me. Um, so it's really hard to explain to anyone who's not aware of what's going on in the community, what the community is about. Unfortunately, media has made us look really bad. Really, okay, see you later, CJ. The media has made the video community look really bad. They've only showed the extremes. They don't really show or talk about what it actually is to be a little. And I feel like there's a difference between an AB and a little. I feel like an AB is somebody who more enjoys the age play, role play aspect of it, whereas a little, it's more of who they are. So I feel like, and it's almost similar to somebody with DID where they have different personalities inside one head. Um, for me, there is Brittany and there is Kai. Um, while in my case, it's not a personality disorder as far as I know, there's very two very distinct people, kind of. Kai is a little 1-year-old male. Kai is a very gentle little baby. He loves trains and dinosaurs, or cars and dinosaurs, anything that moves and dinosaurs, um, and things like that. Like, Kai is the person that comes out when I'm stressed to reduce my stress. It doesn't always work that way. Kai is not always stress relieving. We try to keep it that way, but Kai has a little bit of an issue. Kai does what I call the wall. And it's so confusing to people, but I can literally see it in my head when this happens. Kai often feels like he's not wanted, or like he is less important than other littles that are in our house. And we have three littles, plus Andrew is a switch and Zelly is a switch. So Andrew, or daddy, switches between being daddy and being puppy. Zelly switches between being puppy's mommy and being a little. Most of the time it's daddy. But there are a few times every few weeks or something, he has a night or two where he's puppy. But anyway, that being said, Kai has this thing. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of daddy's making in this reason, where Kai felt like he had to back off. When Zelly moved in, Zelly was a very traumatized little side. So it took a lot of work, and having Kai around, at the time it was Chloe, having Kai around often made her feel like she couldn't be little, or she was not as important to be, she would hide and back off. In getting her little side comfortable, Kai had to back off. And now Kai is in that position where it's like, okay, everybody else is little. I'm not important. I'm going to go behind my wall where it's safe. Um, and it's really weird because I can literally see it when it happens. Is Kai is like right there, and then all of a sudden he runs behind his wall and just peeks out like, you can't see me. Um, but we're working on it. So Kai is a bit damaged at the moment, and sadly, it's not Daddy's fault. Why won't that hair move? Hang on, I have a message. Just give me a second. Okay. Um, but it's not Daddy's fault that this happened. It's through I have a lot of self-esteem issues as an adult, and those are kind of spilling over into Kai. Um, so I tend to feel like, number one, I'm not important. Number one, everybody else is more important and I should be quiet. And then thirdly, I'm just going to disappear. So that's kind of where Kai goes. Like, in any situation where he's feeling like upset or stressed about that, he'll go behind his wall. Um, and I know I talk about my little side as a different entity. It really kind of is. Kai is adorable, by the way. Um, now that someone has explained it better, I know I'm a little. Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. Welcome to the community. um, I am also one of those littles who is exceedingly private. Not quite as bad as Zelly is, but I am exceedingly private. I don't agree with people going out in public being blatantly dressed as a child, blatantly being a little, for the most part. There are situations where it's okay. Um, I know a couple people who are just blatantly out there, but I also know one who pretty much lived as a little 24/7 and very often dressed as a little 24/7, but he did it tastefully. So I've known both sides. I've known a lot of people that are just like, I'm going to do this. People have to see it. I'm very against coercing the public to be involved. simply by seeing us. That's not how I feel it's okay. Yeah, wild one. The ABDL term encompasses a huge range. Um, it encompasses a very huge range. There are people who are only little as a sexual thing. There are people who are sometimes sexual when they're little. There are people that are purely a DL with no little side whatsoever. There are people who are completely little with no sexual side, aka me. Um, it's a spectrum. Much like autism is a spectrum, being in the ABDL community is a spectrum. Um, there's a spectrum of like switches come into play. Switches are someone who can be either little or big. I am not a switch. I cannot be a big. We've tried. I am terrible at it. For me, my little side is all about calmness and healing and de-stressing. Doesn't always end up that way, but that's what he does. That is what my little side does. Um, and it's really funny. It's also something that develops over time. Like some people are like, I'll never do sexual stuff while I'm in little headspace. And you eventually realize, okay, being spanked kind of makes me be aroused. And, talking about daddy, calling your boyfriend daddy during sex or something, girlfriend, whatever, is, I like that, having a little headspace a little bit. Um, it's a very large spectrum, and the term ABDL just encompasses it all. It involves age players who literally are basically role playing. It involves those of us who literally feel like our little side is our natural side. But unfortunately, our bodies have grown, become adults, and we have to have adult responsibility. Um, and I kind of think that that's a little bit where the term adulting came in. I'm not sure of that. I'd have to research that. But um, yeah, we've with me before we had other people in our relationship, before Zelly specifically came in, um, there was Andrew and I knew Andrew was puppy at times, and I knew he had a daddy side. We got into just it was really always really hard for me to flip between daddy and puppy because Kai, at the time, Chloe would see, could only see daddy as daddy, couldn't see daddy as puppy, couldn't be in charge of daddy. Um, So Kai is a really weird side of submissive but independent. It's a really weird combination. How do I keep calm? Well, that depends. I don't have really great coping skills at keeping calm. My best like I have a lot of sensory processing issues. We're pretty sure I'm on the spectrum. Um, I have a lot of sensory issues. So, hola, I am streaming.
Are you?
Yeah. So for me, things like um them eating chips drives me insane. It causes a lot of sensory issues. I will kill you. Hi, it's Andrew, by the way, Yuki. Um, so it's actually like when somebody's eating chips next to me and crunching and stuff like that, it literally sends me into this like feeling where I am completely overstimulated and unable to calm my body down. In that case, I tend to have to do sensory deprivation or remove myself from the situation, depending. I often plug my ears and make noises like I'll stim with my ears so that it's making a noise that is much more pleasant to me so my body calms down. Um, I don't have the greatest coping skills when it comes to staying calm at all. Oh, okay, 1 second.
I'm gonna put together the text first. You have more than half.
Daddy is my hero. He
Why
went.
do you get to work?
He went and got my sewing stuff. That makes me so happy.
Order from her.
Yeah, he says order from her. She needs to make money. But no, I don't have the greatest coping skills at the moment. I need to be in counseling so that I can learn some. Right now, we're just kind of things happen. A really good thing for me to calm down is being in little headspace and snuggling with daddy and being held, things like that, using different things to calm me down. Somebody playing with my hair calms me down. Um, Different music can calm me down, while as other music can make me super anxious. So it's just really you have to find what works for you. Um, Playing with my hair is one of the main things that will calm me down. A binky will also help that too. So it really varies for each person. I am on medication um, I'm on an antidepressant because the fact that it is an anxiety based thing. Um, the primary treatment is get the anxiety and the depression under control. I'll, stop the brain from being so anxious all the time. Which, when I started, when I was diagnosed with PTSD, I have PNES, psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. Once I was diagnosed, we saw actually quite a big drop in seizures. I went from having them every single day to having them every few days. Once I started medication, we started seeing it go down to like once a week, then once every 2 weeks, then once a month, then once every 2 months. Typically, it happens every 2 months. I have yet to go 2 months without a seizure. Um, but I also have had a lot more stress lately, which means they're happening a lot more often because we've been moving and renovating the old house and things like that. So things are starting to calm down. It's been since Fridays that I had the seizure. I had a seizure on Friday, I think, and it's been since then, something like that. So it's a lot better. Um, as my life gets less stressful. Crafting for me helps me stay calm. Sewing, drawing, painting, I stay more calm when I have that stuff to do, which is why my business is what I do. I have a sewing business and stuff like that, so that's why I do that. Um, but being in pain also contributes, so I have to try to lessen the pain, which is not easy to do when you have all the stuff I have going on. Yay, it's Binky's daddy. Yes, it is. Um, I have to refill this, by the way. He is going to be helping. He went to the storage unit, got most of my sewing stuff, which is really awesome. Because I've literally spent the last month, a little over a month, I think, with my sewing room is my sewing is my passion. I love it, everything about it most of the time. Certain things I don't like sewing, like I sell cloth diapers, but I'm not horribly fond of sewing them. They're kind of my least favorite thing to sew when it comes to what I sell. I love sewing onesies. I love sewing like fun things. Footed pajamas are fun. They're not easy, but they're fun because you end up with this really cool product. Diapers, the main reason I don't like sewing diapers is because the material that I have to use and the fact that I have to put in snips. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, my Etsy shop, I did just take off of a vacation a couple days as of this past weekend. I've already got a lot of hits on it, which is really good. Let's see if we can turn those into customers. That's why I'm researching. I'm actually watching all the videos on this one channel that I found because I'm trying to, as a homemade business, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to better my business. And I know number one is photography. I really need to up that. Um, it's hard to photograph big articles of clothing, by the way. Footed pajamas are hard to photograph. But, and I'm thinking about changing my Etsy shop name a little bit. There may be something coming down the line with that. Um, just because of while I go by Binky a lot, I used to go by Binky Girl. Excuse me. My little side is male, and I have embraced that as of late. So I kind of want to change it to involve the name Kai or something because Kai means ocean for Hawaiian. Kai means different things in other languages, but the name that I chose is Hawaiian and it means ocean, or of the ocean or something like that. And so I want to kind of incorporate that possibly because I am a fish. I love water. Water is my happy place. That's the other thing I do to keep calm. Swimming is one thing that immediately calms me down. Yes, long clothing. Clothing in general is hard to photograph if you're trying to get a full-blown shot. You can photograph it in sections, like, here's the top of it. You can fold it up and photograph the top, or you can fold it and photograph the bottom. Getting a full-length shot is almost needing to be done in an opposite of a panoramic. Panoramic is a long one that goes this way. You almost need a long one that goes this way. So it's interesting. It's hard to photograph those. Plus, I just haven't had a very professional setup with which to do this photographing. Um, I've I've gotta figure that out. I also have to learn to edit my photos appropriately. Um, because I don't wanna be putting money into somebody else to do this at the moment, because I just can't afford that in my business. My business is not big enough to support me putting money into a photo editor, even though I do know of somebody who could do it. Um, I don't have the ability and the money and the revenue, I guess, to do that at this point, so I have to edit my photos. So it tends to be like I'll take a photo till I get the right one without editing. So my photos are not the greatest on Etsy, and that's a problem. That's a big problem. Um, but that's something I can work on remedying once I get my camera working again. I just have to get batteries. It's an older camera. It's not a good camera, but it's decent. It my phone just doesn't quite do what I need it to do for that. But the little stuff is a lot easier to photograph. Say my hats, for instance. I think my hats are no longer up for sale on there, but I bought little styrofoam heads to put hats on so that I could photograph those on a head instead of my head. Because I don't want to be in my photographs. I'm sorry. I don't like my body shape. My body shape is not great for modeling. It's okay for plus sizes, but my body is not an appealing body when you put it in something like that. It's not an appealing photo. My boyfriend, who's a skinny little twerp, is great for it, but I never make stuff in his size. Um, if I'm making something, it's either for a customer, me. I very rarely, just have the money to make everybody something. So it's not often that I can get him to model, even though he has a freaking adorable body. He's just got this perfect body. He's not ripped, but he's not flabby, and he's in shape weight-wise. He's like his perfect weight. It's so cute. He doesn't think he is, but he is. He would be perfect for modeling stuff for me. But can I get him to do that or get the time to do that? No, because he's always home at dark and I'd have to have lighting to do it. So, yeah. But, that's why I'm kind of looking at what can I sell for the AB community that is gonna be ready to ship stuff. Like, I can put, say, $20 into making a bunch of something and sell them appropriately at the right price to make a profit, but also have it ready to just chug out like that. Which I know banky clips are one thing, bandanas, things like that. Different types of bags and things like that are good for that as well. I would love something I wanted to get into was doing adult baby diaper bags. But there's not a huge market for those because a lot of people want something discreet. And I have made some really awesome bags for incontinence stuff that are very discreet. They look like just a regular bag that anybody would carry around. You should Me too. Me too, wild one. I 5 years ago when I moved here, I was 170 pounds. I looked fabulous. I had dropped from 220 down to 170 at the time because of stress from a breakup and all that. But when I moved here, I was about 175 pounds. Stayed that way for a couple of years just because I was not healthy yet. But now my mobility has gone downhill. At the same time, I've not been eating appropriately. By that, I don't consume enough calories, so my body stores weight. So between the not exercising and the not enough calories, my weight has just gone up to way higher than I've ever been, and it's very frustrating that I haven't been able to lose it despite not eating much. But um, the best way for me to exercise right now is in the water. And water's only available in the summertime for the most part, unless we buy a pool membership, which is expensive. A pool membership for a person costs $225 every season or year. I think it's a year. So that's a lot of money per year to put into it. However, it depends on if I was going fairly regularly to the pool, it might pay for itself. But it cost me $5 to walk in the door and swim if I want to not buy a membership. So it's like it's not really worth it because everybody here, number one, Andrew hates the water. Me and Abby love the water, and Zelly loves the water. But Zelly works till 7 o'clock every night, and the pool closes at 8. So we only have 30 minutes to get there and swim before it closes. So we don't go swim. Now, here in our complex right now, we have a pool. I believe it's open for a few more weeks. I need to get in it because I have not swam this year. Need to get in that pool. But unfortunately, I have my grandfather's family's body where we have massive hips. We don't weigh tiny bits. Like my sister has my grandmother on my father's side body. Just buy a pool. I wish. Living where we live, we don't have the greatest spot for a pool at the moment. We'd literally have to take up our entire back patio with a pool, which means then no grill, which would be devastating to Andrew. I do want to get some sort of small pool that I can just sit in the water in, because I love the water. But we live somewhere where it's not something we could, like, even in our previous house, we had nowhere we could really put a pool. In this house, there is a pool. So, of course, during the summer, I will go swimming. We just haven't had that ability because we've been moving everywhere around here. All the swimming, like the lake and stuff, was flooded, so nobody could swim there. We actually had a death of someone who tried to swim in the lake when it was flooded. And we're talking like this has been the most rainy spring I have ever seen, and rainy summer for that matter. Rainy year that I have seen since I moved here 5 years ago. So it's not been a good swimming year. But that is one of my favorite ways to exercise because it takes the pain off my back. Because I have back issues that we don't quite know what's going on with, but it takes the pain off the back and I can then move around and exercise. It helps with my lungs because the pressure is taken off my lungs when I'm swimming. It's all just beneficial when I'm swimming. So, yeah. But whew, I'm actually in pain sitting this way, so I'm going to sadly push my cat out of the way a little bit because he is down here. Ow, 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 ow. Oh. The other reason I can't exercise the normal way is because I let my hips like to dislocate. We're not sure what that is either. So, but all that to say, yes, I understand how you are with the looking at food and gaining weight. This seems to be me. But in reality, mine is a combination of reasons. I know I can lose weight if I do it properly. If I'm exercising it properly and burning off some calories, I do tend to lose the weight. So, no, I'm not going to try any of the special diets like the keto diet and everything because if you do not do the keto diet properly, it's actually really bad for your kidneys. The reason the keto diet was really invented was to help people who had epilepsy because certain aspects of being keto help with the seizure control. I'm not sure the whole stuff behind it, but that was where originally the keto diet started. But when you're doing keto, you have to be very careful because it can damage kidneys in a way. I'm not sure exactly how it all works. I know that the keto diet causes your body to burn fat cells first instead of sugar cells, I guess, or something like that. I don't know exactly. Or it burns fat to get energy instead of burning sugars. I don't know. Either way, I've looked at what some doctors have said about it because I literally wanted to check it out because I knew Andrew's parents were doing a keto diet for a while, and so I wanted to see what actual doctors are saying about it. And unless you very carefully do a medical keto diet, they said the kidney damage risk is really high. I cannot risk having another organ fucked up. So that is why I've never done it and never will without the need. Anyway, seeing as Andrew's home and I'm going to be doing stuff in a few minutes with him, with my sewing room, yes, I am going to go ahead and close up stream. Those of you, Kylie, welcome to the group. Thank you for stopping in. And Yuki, thanks for hanging out. Wild One, you've been here the whole time. Thank you. You guys are awesome. And I really super enjoy talking to you all like this, and stuff. Be sure, guys, that you are following me on Twitch because once I start back in my sewing room, which obviously is going to be in the next day or two, a lot of my streams will be over on Twitch. So follow me over there. Hi, BP. Yeah. I am the heaviest set pretty much in my family at the moment. And that includes extended family. I'm pretty much the heaviest set of all of us right now. And it's not good for my health. It's not good for the pain that I'm having. It's not good. But at the time, it's really hard to do the exercise. Like, I can't do the aerobic exercise very well right now. But getting into being able to do good, swimming and stuff will really help. See you on Discord. Yes. But follow me on Twitch for sure, because that's where, when I'm sewing and stuff, that's where we're going to be. So follow me, twitch.tv/ Binky Girl. I think it is. I'm going to be changing the name here before too long, but that's yes, Binky Girl on Twitch. I want to say, I thought I had, here, I'll plug it in. Give me a second. It should be twitch.tv/ Binky Girl. Let me log in real quick and see, but I think, yep, it is. This is exactly it. Here's the name. Here's my page for Twitch. But most of the art streams will be over there, so the general daily streaming that I do will be on Twitch. And I know that's a little bit harder for some people to catch, but it's a lot better as a streamer to do it on Twitch, because when I stream on YouTube, it affects my analytics. It affects the way that my channel runs. So for the most part, I would like to keep streaming over on Twitch. Also, they have a lot less copyright issues. Here, Twitch or on YouTube, you get dinged for a copyright thing, whereas on Twitch, they just automatically mute that section. Here, I have to fight it on YouTube every single time I get a stream or I'm listening to music or something. YouTube will be like, you have copyright material. They even copyrighted me for frickin' singing a song. So technically covering a song, I got copyrighted on, which is not okay. So that is why we're kind of switching over to Twitch. And for streaming and stuff, hopefully I'll be doing some videos more often that are actually like actual sat down recorded videos here on YouTube. But for now, streamings will be on Twitch once we're sewing. If it's going to be a sit down stream like this, it'll be here on YouTube. But if it's going to be any form of crafting or drawing or anything, it's going to be over on Twitch. So that is the plan from here on out. And so be sure to follow me there, guys. And I will see you all next time. So have an awesome day. See you later, Wild One. See you later, Yuki. I think those are the only two that are still here. I'm not totally sure on that, but you guys have an awesome evening. And I will be on stream another day. Bye, guys.